Hello everyone again and welcome. So today we'll be continuing with functions. When we have the data, what is up next? What are we going to do with that data? Since we are looking at introduction to statistics, we'll mostly look at basic functions like calculating the mean, median, standard deviation, and so on. So we are going to launch back RS Studio. I think I had a lot of people complaining yesterday that they were unable to see my recording so well. So I have changed the background a little bit so that it looks more visible. I can still try to reduce this font. Go to appearance. I can change it a little to like 175. Apply and do okay. Okay, so we saw how we could input this data like age, and then we do the purchases. So when we have this data, what is up next? What can we do with the data? So as I did mention, since we are using looking at more of statistics, we can look at the mean of these ages. So in R, if I just do mean of, for example, the age that I had, first thing you have to remember, you have to run this age first, and then we can compute the mean, which is this. So if we compute the mean, we see that the mean age here is 45. We can do median also of age, and then run it. We see that the median age here is 47. We can do ST STD. Think so. Yeah. So still. And then we can do, there is as we move on, we will see what we call the five number summary. If I just do summary of age, it is going to give us the mean, the median, and so on. So we see that if I do just summary, so in a data, if you want to look at the minimum value, the first quarter, the median, the mean, the third quarter, and the maximum, you can just do what we call the five number summary. So we are going to see more of this as we keep on moving onto this course. So those are the basic functions we can have. Also, we have mathematical functions like operations that we will see, like something like the absolute value. We know that absolute value in mathematics, I can write. Remember, if we have to comment out something, you can just do these double hatches in R. Let me say I want to calculate the absolute value of something. We know this is how the absolute value in mathematics looks like. It's something like this. But in R, how do we compute that absolute value? So if I just do ABS of something, let me say H, is going to just give us the same thing because we do not have. Let me just try to assign something different. Let me say D assigned to something like -6. Yeah, D is -6. So if I do the absolute value of D, we should see something like appearing as what? As a 6, because the absolute value of any negative number becomes a positive number. Same we can do if I have something like another variable y, assigning it to 36. If I want to do something like the square root, if I do sqrt of y, I should, if I run this, same here, I should be having like the square root of 36 to be equals to what? To be equals to 6. So you can try more of this. You can also do uh, what we call the correlation between two variables. Correlation actually measures the relationship between two variables. So if I pass in co here, which is like the correlation, we need x and y, and then the method, we can try different methods. We have Pearson's correlation coefficient, we have the Kendall correlation coefficient, and the Spearman's correlation coefficient. Most of the times, by default, we are going to have Pearson's the correlation coefficient. So if I want to look at the correlation coefficient between H and the purchases that we had, remember I'll need to run these purchases since I already have H, and then I do that correlation. We see that the correlation coefficient here is approximately, let me say 59%, which says that there is that strong relationship between H and purchases, which means that people that are older a little bit may tend to purchase more. Let's just go and have a look at this data set here. We see that um, the purchase that was made of $160 was someone at age what, 80. It might appear sometimes like if you look at this here, it's more like an outlier. If I do a box plot as we box plot of age, and then another box plot for the purchases, let's actually see where these outliers are. If I run this, I want to see that more. Let me do horizontal is equals to true. Same here. Horizontal is equals to true. Let's run this again. We can see that we have this outlier here. We see that this person with an age of 80 is actually like very different from these other age groups, which is like, more. We call this point here with this dot an outlier. Same if I do a box plot of these purchases, we are going to see we have some outliers here, but the most we can look at this point here that the purchase of $160 is far more different from the other purchases. Also, we can do the sum. We can do summing things like if I want to sum everything in the that h vector. If I just do h, let's see that sum there and see what we get. We see that if we sum up everything there, we should have like 405. And there are different things we can do. Just try to look at the link to the introduction to modern statistics that I sent with arrow. You are going to get more of these. So one other thing I want us to look at is what we call packages. Sometimes there are some operations that you cannot perform in R until you install those packages, which is, sometimes if I wanted to, let me see, something like ggplot. Ggplot is like an advanced way that we are going to see when it comes to like plotting graphs. So if you want to install a library, there are two ways you can do that. You can come through this tools option and then go to install packages here and then try to type the name of that package. Let me say ggplot. So if you say ggplot, we can just do install. It's going to install. So it's already installing. That's one way you can do it. It's still installing. So when it's done installing, we should see that. Installing. As we move on, there are some data sets that are that they are on R that you can call those data set and do some basic statistical analysis with it. Most of the times we have to install these packages because those data sets are within those packages. So some of those exercises that I'll be sending in, you have to install these packages before you can use those data sets. Sometimes it takes maybe minutes to get these packages installed. We see that the package has been installed because we can see this cursor down here. So before you can use a package, you have to do like library. You call the name of that package. It was ggplot2. So if you do not call that library, showing that it is something that you installed, it won't work. So if I call that library first, before you can do any plot, we are going to see more of ggplot as we go on. So another thing we have to, one data set that comes with this ggplot is the msleep data set. Let's just do msleep, but you have to install this package first. Msleep. Let me see. Why is it not? We have to install that package first, so we can go. Let me show the other way. So you can do install dot packages, and then you pass the name of that package in square bracket, and then we do mslib. Then from there you can run it. That's another way you can install that package. So since we have installed it, we can try to call it because it's a data set mslib. Yeah, we have it. If I run this here, we should see that it is like a data set that has its made up of different columns and so on. So we can call this data set and try to do different things with it. And one thing I want you to notice, sometimes you might not really know how a package works, or maybe some function in other works. One thing you can do is you can just do question mark, and then you say maybe min. You don't know how to use the min in R, just do question mark min. It's like a help option. It's going to look at where we or where our plots appear. It's going to show you how you can compute the mean. And then here it says na.remove is equals to false, because there are sometimes you cannot calculate the mean when you have missing values. If you look at the mslib data, we have these NAs here. These are missing values. As we go on, we are going to see how we can take care of these missing values when we are doing data cleaning. Guys, that's all for today. I would say you should try to practice more using that book. The next video I'll be posting will be more on descriptive statistics. Thank you so much, and bye for now.